What's up, everybody? It's Brandon from Box Office Banner and Cult Flick Symposium, and I'm back with another new review. Saw 3 movies this week, guys. Already got out my review for The Machine, got out my review for About My Father, and now something a little tamer. Something that I'm not overly familiar with. Now, I am to some extent, because who isn't? And that, of course, is The Little Mermaid. You know, obviously I'm not familiar with the live action version, as we have another one of these. Disney's just like, let's just remake everything we've ever done. We're out of ideas. Saw a meme about that the other day. Kind of on point. But nonetheless, it's interesting to see, right? But what I mean by I'm not all that familiar with it, I didn't have a childhood I think that most childhoods have. Now, that's not to say that like I had a fucked up childhood. Like we didn't even have a TV. No. I just jumped into the era of, I don't know, what do you call it, slasher movies and things of that nature, which is why these guys are behind me. He was probably a big, actually, my shit's like reverse when it's on the camera. He was probably a big, culprit of that, elevating and pushing that forward to the point where I ended up with that, and then I ended up with, that's actually Jason in the back. You can't really tell. It's a big cardboard cutout. So my nostalgia, where a lot of people find nostalgia in like Disney and shit, like they're just all about it. They're like, yeah, you know what? It's more for kids, but adults get something out of it too. And, it just really takes you back to when you just were growing up. Me, that's like Michael Myers for me. That's like Freddy Krueger for me. That's Jason Voorhees for me. That's these guys for me. Like that's more of my nostalgia. For better or worse, I started watching crazy shit like that when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I fell in love with it, and that love never stopped. Now, that's not to say I didn't watch Disney movies. There was a select few that really stand out to me. Little Mermaid is not one of them. I probably haven't seen the original Little Mermaid in like 25 years. Seriously, like that's not an understatement here. So this is going to be coming at this review with like a different point of view, I guess you could say, because I don't even remember what happened in the damn movie. I'm sure I've seen it like collective pieces of it, like scattered around to make up a full movie's worth of The Little Mermaid, like the original, like where I might caught 20 minutes on TV, or maybe like I was at like a cousin's house 10 years ago and I saw like 40 minutes of it. There's been bits and pieces, but I have not collectively watched the film, sat down and watched it. So I have no idea how it correlates. Like I was watching it and I'm like, that happened in the original, didn't it? I'm like, or am I imagining that? I have no idea. As far as this new one goes, though, there's nothing wrong with it. I've seen a lot of backlash, of course. The elephant in the room here is like a bunch of people are like, oh, they don't like that they changed the race of Ariel, and I'm here to say, just shut up. Like, I'm sorry. I don't like to be so upfront with my shit, but come on now. There is levels to this shit. There's moments that it affects you, but like, look around at the kids when you're seeing this at the theater. If you actually do go out and do it, you know who this is actually for. They're having a fucking blast, bro. Like, don't turn it into that. Just don't do that, please. Now, in saying that, there is movies where I have felt where they have pushed shit. And it's not that like I even disagree with what they're pushing. I hate it when I'm watching a movie and I can feel the narrative. Whether I agree with the narrative, disagree with the narrative, any of that shit, where it feels like there's a checklist. Like it starts to take me out of the movie because I'm like, oh, I feel like you're doing that for this reason. Then you're doing that, and then you're doing that. It starts to remove me from the movie. I start to think about Hollywood execs, like, did we have a gay character? Did we have a black character? Whatever the fuck it is, going down the list. And obviously this is not a PG review. I put not for kids on the review, so hopefully kids aren't tuning into this review. But there's nothing wrong with having Ariel be black. And I did not feel this checklist thing in this movie. It was just a good kids movie. I don't understand. There's people that are already just taking this movie, cutting it off, just like, oh, they made Ariel black. Like, is there really a problem here, guys? Seriously? Is that gonna fucking hurt the movie? She was like the best part of the movie, honestly. One problem I had with this movie was Halle Berry. I thought it was Halle Berry at first. Honestly. That was my daughter. Hopefully my wife's gonna help her. I don't know if y'all could hear her. She's like, can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? She really enjoyed the movie, by the way. Halle Berry. Is that her name? Is it Haley Bailey? I need to look this up. Haley Bailey, Haley Berry. Either way, whatever the lead actress' name is, I heard that there was up in arms about it. And then I looked at it, I'm like, oh, well, I get this. Like, why is Halle Berry going to be the Little Mermaid? Like, I mean, she looks great for her age, don't get me wrong, but like, she's past her prime. Like, cast somebody younger. What are you doing? And I looked at it and I was like, oh, you're an idiot. What? This is not Halle Berry. Yeah. This girl killed it. I thought she was great. Killed it might be a strong word. She wasn't like amazing, but the character didn't call for that. But she was everything I wanted, I guess, a Little Mermaid to be. She was beautiful. She had pipes. She sang well. She really encompassed what I would want, I guess, my Little Mermaid character to be. She was really good. Ursula, is that her damn name? Please tell me that's her name. This is the one name I feel like I have pinned down from this movie, and then I watched the movie and I'm still like, am I wrong? I don't know. Melissa McCarthy's character, she absolutely killed it. I love Melissa McCarthy in this movie. And then we can take it another step over to like the dad of all the mermaids, Javier Bardem. Love this guy. Obviously, No Country for Old Men. That's in my top 10 favorite movies ever. Anytime this dude's in a movie, I'm gonna be sold. Obviously, speaking of No Country for Old Men, playing a way less sinister role here. He does solid too, especially he plays the really good role of the father that is really just too hard on his daughter. He's coming down hard. He's like, no, you can't do this, and you can't not letting her live her life, what he envisions as a life. But he's also doing it from a place of love. Like, he even realizes he might be coming down too strong. And when it's all said and done, if you've seen the original movie, I believe it's like the same type of thing where, he's going to, maybe come around or at least see things to some degree. I don't want to spoil it completely in case it is something different. But what I'm trying to say is there's an element of heart there. He's not just a cold-blooded bastard, and I think Javier Bardem juggles that well enough. The one problem outside of that, though, I did not really like any of these other characters. Even little side characters, I mean, they were okay, but they weren't anything special. Like, they weren't that funny. Like, I want the side characters to bring the laughs. The movie theater in general, they did get a standing ovation, which was cool because it was damn good. I enjoyed it. I've already admitted that much, at least, for this type of movie. But it wasn't that funny, and I always want my side characters in these Disney movies to at least provide comic relief. They tried here and there, but it just didn't land, at least for me. It didn't seem like it was landing for most other people. I didn't like the guy that's playing the Prince Charming type role. He felt like great value Ryan Gosling, like the way he do his eyes and shit. I think he has different colored eyes, but there were certain angles I'd be like, holy shit, that's Ryan Gosling. Like, he, at least to me, had a similar look, and he just was, again, nothing wrong with him, but he was just every fucking Prince type of character I've seen in these type of movies. And overall, I think that's what holds the movie back a little bit for me. As much as I did enjoy it, is the side characters didn't do it for me outside of, Ariel, Ursula, and then Javier Bardem's character name's escaping me right now. Other than that, everybody else is just kind of eh. I will say Awkwafina, who I'm a big fan of, didn't really do it for me in the movie. Not that she was bad, but again, nothing special. She did have one song, though, that I really enjoyed. What was it? The Scuttlebutt, I think she is what it's called. Listen for that song if you haven't, seen the movie yet. Because it's almost like a rap, and it's dope. I don't remember this being the original one. If it was ahead of its time. Because, she's over here coming with the bars, bro. I don't know. It really, really was a cool, fun, catchy song that I really enjoyed. Outside of that, though, the music, other than, the song you're in the trailer, was kind of iffy to me. It wasn't terrible, but again, not very amazing, not very memorable, other than that Scuttlebutt song and the one from the trailer you've already heard, a million times you've seen the trailer. The remakes of the old songs, like Under the Sea, they're fine, but they're not, it's not better than the original, or at least not that I remember. So it doesn't really do anything for me, but, Kiss the Girl, with all that shit, it's fine, but it's not, and saying that though, it is a good mix. They do have a good mix of new and old from the things I can remember. Obviously, I remember the couple songs that used to be in the older movie, but overall, it didn't make enough of a stamp in the new music department to make it really stand out amongst other Disney releases, in my opinion. And the remakes of the older songs didn't separate themselves. Like, oh my God, what an amazing new version. So overall, the music and the side characters, I think, held it back a little bit. Also, once Ariel got on land, maybe it's me because I have this weird fascination with like aquatic adventures. I really enjoyed it when she was under the sea. That song's been stuck in my head all day today, by the way. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more in those portions. It was just, there's something that's really beautiful to look at when you're looking at movies filmed like this. Even like Aquaman with Jason Momoa. Some people might give that movie shit, but I love just the visual of them being underwater and the way their hair just slowly like waves in the fucking ocean. Very cool. There's a shark scene in this movie. I don't think that's much of a spoiler. I believe that was in the original too. Scared the shit out of my daughter. It was one of those scenes that just, if you can hand, it's one of those that like, it might be like, oh, and then it'll be over. But it was kind of fun because this shark was like popping up out of nowhere, just like popping out, and I'm terrified of sharks, and I believe I kind of passed on to my daughter. But as an adult, even I was kind of having fun with it. I was enjoying it. But overall, guys, I mean, like this movie, it is what it's supposed to be. Could have been a little funnier, could have had a little bit better side characters. The music isn't overly memorable, but the heart and that Disney magic is definitely there overall. The leads in Ariel and Ursula by Melissa McCarthy was easily my favorite character. And, of course, Javier Bardem as the dad really make up for those other dry spots. And there's just enough put into it where it evens out and is on the level of every other damn, Disney live-action remake I've seen, personally. I've enjoyed all these movies. I haven't disliked any of them. I haven't really loved any of them either. They fit somewhere right in between there, but they're always like, hey, I'm not disappointed I watched that. That was a cool little rendition that, brings stuff to the new age. And the ending, I think, is what really sealed it, where I was kind of half and half. Overall, a little more on the good side. The ending, I thought, was really fun. What they did with like Ursula was really dope. I really, really enjoyed that little final showdown they did. And then that like last little emotional moment where it's just like just a family type of atmosphere. It's very good in that regard, and it raises the movie up. This was a 7.2 out of 10 to me. Really good movie, perfect movie to bring your kids out to. Don't listen to any of these naysayers. They're just like, oh, not My Little Mermaid. What the hell are you talking about? Like, just get out there, go see the movie, especially if you have kids. And even if you don't have kids or you're a fan of the original, I think you'll like what you see here. This was a solid time, guys. Love y'all. See y'all again under the sea, above the sea. This shit. It's never gonna leave my head. It's never gonna leave my head.